Alright, we're getting ready to, looks like we're getting ready to run Shadowfang Keep, but looks like my party's not all anywhere near. The druid's pretty close to me. Got a full party. I think there's a robe in here that drops. Hopefully that'll drop. That would be nice to get. Be a nice upgrade. Testing. Mic looks good. See how many horde there are sitting in front of the instance. Got our more healing based gear. Oh, yeah, we got these bracers. But once we get 25, we can put these guys on. Actually, I went with Spirit. I'm going with a pretty much a more specific healing. I'm going for more like healing. I'm trying to just heal my way to max level. Because I don't really feel like doing dungeons on a priest. Sorry, quests on a priest. As I eat. Oh, here we go. Purdy, what's up, man? How's it going? Long time no see. He's like the horde tried to jump me when I walked by, and I said, "Man, they didn't bother me." I walked right by him, and he goes, "Woman privilege." I will say that if you're a female night elf and you're a priest, you do get PvP attacked less often, which is funny. It's true though, because I play a lot of night elf priests, and you don't get attacked as much. Like if you're like a rogue, if I was just running mine as a rogue, I mean, they attack you so much more often. So how you doing, Purdy? Are you looking forward to playing Burning Crusade Classic? We got the anniversary realms coming probably I'm going to say in November, probably, is when this realm should progress into the Burning Crusade. So I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to get this character to 60, and I'd love to get my Paladin and my Hunter to 60 as well. It'd be cool to have a 60 Paladin, Hunter, and Priest, you know, going into Burning Crusade. That would be cool. Jason, what's up, man? I'm just waking up. I'm eating some leftover pizza. What had you not heard about? How about the Night Elves? Oh yeah, I know all about Project Epoch. Let me see. I didn't know that did they launch it? Thought they were still a ways away. Here, let's take a look. Epoch. Numbers of drift. Where is it? There we go. I thought they were still a ways away. Oh yeah, I'm kind of okay. July 26th. It is really cool what they've done. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those private server projects that I think has a lot of potential. And you know but they were so far away. Like the betas and stuff that I played they just looked like they weren't quite there yet. But yeah, for sure. I didn't realize they were so close. Hold on a second. Let's take a look. Yeah, so it's another one of those like kind of classic plus projects, but the cool thing about Project Epoch is that I believe they're running on the Wrath of Lich King client, which is really cool. So I mean, obviously you're going to get the better character models. The graphics are going to look pretty. You have a lot of options when you use the Wrath of Lich King client. A lot of private server projects that try to do like vanilla. I mean, the big setback is trying to use the 1.12 client. So a lot of the newer projects are trying to do like Wrath of the Lich King, and Project Epoch I think is one of the ones that's doing that. Pretty sure. Right here, you can see that these are upgraded character models. Like I can just tell looking at these are upgraded. Oh, me. What is premium? Retuned and reimagined. Oh yeah, they did. I think it was Epoch that redid Dead Mines, and it looks amazing. It looks like, remember the movie The Goonies? Yeah, yeah, Purdy, I agree. If you remember the movie The Goonies, I'm pretty sure it was Epoch that redid it. Let's see. Yeah, like their dungeon showcase on the Goonies. So what they're doing, because I actually talked to some developers on Project Epoch. So what they're doing is they're using, I think it was Epoch that was using I can't I can't remember which technology they were using, but it's specific technology where they're actually able to manipulate the textures of the world in a much more direct way. It's not as a lot of the private server projects trying to manipulate the textures is a little bit tricky, but the way Epoch is using that, I can't remember which code they're using. It's really cool. But it allows them to do stuff more directly, so they have more control over what they're actually modifying in the game engine. Project Epoch technology. So let's see if we can find it. I can't type. Might be. I wonder if it's on the website. Here, TypeScript is what I was thinking. They're using TypeScript for WoW, which is really interesting. So if you take a look for WoW TypeScript, this is what allows them to do it. It is right. Here's the GitHub project. So if you go to the GitHub project, it creates projects developed for World of Warcraft add-ons with TypeScript. That's for add-ons though, but I'm pretty sure this is what they're doing. Anyways, but pretty sure that's what they're doing. Oh, Alex Sensual. I ain't gonna watch anything by Alex Sensual. That guy's a nut job. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, I wanted to show you the Dead Cat Mine showcase. I don't know if you've seen this, Jason, but man, oh my God. So one of the things you look at with the Dead Mines, with the Dead Mines showcase, you'll notice right away is that the textures of the walls is a lot different. Like the walls of the Dead Mines don't look like this. The rocks don't look like this. Also, the other thing is the elevation. Like the ceiling and stuff is much higher. And I think that's one of the things in the Dead Mines and some of the dungeons and some of the areas in Vanilla World of Warcraft feel like you're really cramped. You know, like you feel like everything's kind of small. You know what I mean? Like it looks really small. But the cool thing that Project Epoch is doing is when they're reworking the dungeons, they're bringing the scale up. They're making everything much more open and large, which makes it feel more epic. So look at this first boss in the Dead Mines. You can see the room is so much bigger and the ceiling is so much higher. See how everything's opened up? It's just more open. So it makes it feel, more massive. And there's more detail. So, I mean, and they put out this video a while ago. So I've been aware of Epoch for a long time. This was a year ago. But I thought they were still a ways out. But wow, if they're coming out, man, this project could be huge. And it's really bad timing. I mean, it's good timing for them. Hey, what's up, Volker? It's good timing for them because they're putting it out in a time where we're in between the anniversary releases. Like the Burning Crusade anniversary is probably going to be like November, December timeframe, right? But this is going to come into a spot where there's like a little room in between, which is good for them, but it's bad for me because I'm trying to get my characters up to max level for Burning Crusade. But I'm definitely going to play this. I mean, look at the final Deadmines boss. I mean, look how awesome this, how awesome this looks. And they've added bosses to it. There's like a fire boss. You'll see him here in a minute. Here's the fire boss that they've added to the final Deadmines boat on the Alliance side, which is super cool. I was just getting ready to watch the new launch trailer. I will definitely dissect it. You can see the multi-level. But again, they've just really drastically improved the lighting. And look how big the cavern is. It's so much bigger. It totally reminds me of Goonies, man. It totally reminds me of Goonies. And of course, there's Edward Van Cleef. Lapdogs, all of you. Lapdogs, all of you. All right. So here, Volker. Here's the trailer. Okay, we got Blackrock Depths. That looks pretty much the same. That looks pretty much the same. Looks the same. Looks the same. But that looks a little different. Okay, I will say that the Sunken Temple looked a little different. I don't know why. It looks a little different. I don't know if it's the lighting or the fog, the mist, but it looks a little different. I'm not sure where this is. If this is supposed to be Skolomons, I can't tell. Ironforge. Okay. I think this is the new dungeon that they're doing. I think this is one of the new dungeons they created. I'm pretty sure. Okay, we got Dwarf Mage. Okay, this. Oh man, dude, Undead Hunter. Oh, I love Undead Hunter. The other Hunter is Human Hunter. Like, why wouldn't you ever have? I mean, I always thought it's like one of the dumbest things. Like in almost any MMO, humans are usually the most diverse, right? Undead Paladin. Undead Paladin is what I've always wanted. That's the one race class combo I've wanted more than any other. Because do they have Human Hunter? Because Human Hunter, why wouldn't you have a Human Hunter? I mean, the fact that WoW doesn't have a Human Hunter, I never understood that. Like, just doesn't make sense, right? But Undead Paladin, because there's actually, believe it or not, in World of Warcraft, there is a quest where there's a quest in WoW where I think an undead becomes a paladin, and actually it doesn't make sense because the undead were just like Sylvanas took the dead people and turned them into the scourge or the horde, right? He like raised them from the dead. So why wouldn't a human paladin who died and then is raised from the dead to serve the horde? Why wouldn't he still be a paladin, right? Wouldn't he still be he'd just be an undead paladin, right? I mean, just Tauren Priest. This I think Tauren Priest is cool too. Dwarf Priest, Dwarf Shaman. Oh, Dwarf Shaman. Gnome Priest, Troll Warlock. And there's the Human Hunter, which I think we should have. There it is, Undead Paladin. That's gonna make a lot of people happy. Okay, so this is Goldshire. I'm assuming this is. I've looked at this before, but it's Goldshire. Okay, this is that. I don't know the Horde side as well. This is that little town right before you get to Orgrimmar. I think that was the Crossroads, wasn't it? I'm not sure what that is. Okay, was that Maradon? Not Maradon, but wait, these things come fast and furious. Huh. This almost looks like the Insane Druid's quest from Ashen Vale. That's what this looks like. The little cave for the Insane Druid's quest. This looks like the area up in Altrock Mountains. You know, that little area in Altrock Mountains that's kind of like has these buildings. I mean, I don't know if that's what this is, but the mountains in the background would fit with the layout. And then there's a little wooden fence here. So like if you go to Altrock Mountains, let's see. It would be Strawnbrad. What I'm talking about is Strombrad. There's a little village here, and there's a road that goes by it, and that's what that looks like. That looks like Strombrad. See, this would be the little fence that kind of goes past. This just looks like outside Ironforge to the south. Crossroads, maybe? Goldshire, Stormwind. Don't know. Night Elf, Darnassus. This is, yeah, we're by the Thunderbluff. Don't know where that is. This is Darkshire. This is Wrathy Highlands. Don't know. Not sure. This is Silithus. This is okay, that was Burning Steppes. Silithus. This one here. This is Airy Peak. This could be a couple places. I think this is it's either off the coast of the wetlands or it's off the coast of Darkshore. Silithus. I'm not sure if what this is. This is interesting. Where are these people at? Okay, we got Rogue. Okay, we got Hunter. Just want to make sure I'm ready for our group when they get here. Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, I think it could be really good. New enemies. What are the new enemies? Some conjured water. Why, thank you, friend. I know conjured water is this. This is 835. Versus 835, same. It's Fire Mama. Somebody got killed. Did you see that? Did you see the upgraded character models? Right there. For Sylvanas. Oh. I guess they didn't want to wait for the other people. Yeah, but I definitely will be playing Epoch. I'll be playing Project Epoch for sure. So I just think I've been trying to get to the point where I only play one version of WoW. There's so many versions of WoW, and I've gotten a little bit tired of jumping around, you know, because every time I feel like I make progress on a certain server, I get pulled off for some reason or another, you know, and so it can be a little frustrating. You know, it's like, oh yeah, we're. But I'll definitely try it out because I never want to miss on anything that's really cool. You know, I'm not gonna miss the boat. The hype train's too strong, man. You can't. You got to get aboard, man. What we got? We got. Just want to make sure I have the right. Make sure I have the right gear equipped. I think I do. And we got that. We got that. How's he doing? 13 minutes. How are we doing on mana? We're good. Do we have any spirits? Yeah, here we go. Hey, what's up, boss? How's it going, man? How you doing? Doing a little Shadowfang keep. I don't know if you saw that, Vols, but it looks like Project Epoch is going to come out sooner than I thought. They're talking about maybe it coming out in July, it looks like. So we'll definitely jump on that private server and check it out. Yeah, July 26th. I thought it was. Oh, did you link in chat? I've been gone. I have not been able to play much lately. I've been doing all the moving stuff, so yeah. I can't move. I can't move. Yeah, well, the problem with Turtle Wow, and I've always said this, is they're using the 1.12 client, and it just, some people say, oh, it runs fine for me, but I'm like, I'm sorry, so the 1.12 client just runs too, it's just, I'm so used to the 1.14 client that Classic WoW uses that I can't, the 1.12 client just is not, it's just not smooth enough, it's too janky. It's fine when vanilla servers were like brand new and we were all just looking to play vanilla again, back, 10, 15, 10 years ago or whatever. It was great, but now we've been spoiled by these more modern clients, and so to go back and play that client feels a little, doesn't feel that good. So yeah, so they're using the Wrath of Lich King client, so that gives them a lot more options. It's also easier to code against for doing some of the stuff they're trying to do. It's a lot more stuff in that particular client that's a little bit more friendly for tweaking all the visuals. Where is though? Is he still like not here? Yeah, he's not here yet. Like, I barely have to do any healing. I just throw Renew on the druid. And maybe shoot my wand or something. Like, he's pretty tanky. But I mean, my gear's pretty good too. Yeah, I know. It's kind of, it's very, doesn't it always feels like that, Voss. It always feels like we have these droughts where we don't have anything to play, and then all of a sudden we have a bunch of stuff at exactly the same time, and it's like, really? It's like you have to make it this difficult for us to figure out what to play. Chrono Odyssey, I've watched a ton of reviews on Chrono Odyssey, and there's definitely a lot of bugs, but that is not a AAA company. You have to keep that in mind that it's a smaller company. So. Hey, what's up, JP? How's it going? But yeah, it's going to be bad, Volst, if like Blizzard comes out. Hopefully, Blizzard's new version, whatever they're working on, I'm hoping that doesn't come out for like a couple years, to be honest. Did you roll Night Elf Priest because of me? Hey, I love my Night Elf Priest. People always rag on you. It's like, oh, you don't have Fear Ward. I'm like, yeah, but I don't. I'm not ugly as all sin, And I can jump, and I can Shadow Meld, and we can throw little Star Shards in here too if we want, right? Do a little AOE. I wish it was. It wouldn't be cool if Star Shards was like an AOE spell. That would be amazing. Star Shards starts in vanilla, and it sees its greatest peak in TBC because it becomes an instant cast, which just makes it amazing for PvP, for keeping rogues in stealth. Did they have what I want? Who had what I want? Which one are you talking about, boss? Are you talking about classic? Are you talking about, or are you talking about, or are you talking about Chrono Odyssey? I know Chrono Odyssey starts off. You talk about Epoch. Yeah, classic plus to me always is basically should just be like make the game more difficult, add more content into the original version of the game vanilla, like just basically add more content. You know, maybe add some, new class. I'm never really opposed to race class combinations. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. You know, especially on the horde side because a lot of people like me, I'm one of those people, only plays doesn't play horde a lot because I don't really get kind of what I want, like I can't play like an undead hunter or an undead paladin. Like one of the biggest reasons I play alliance is because I like paladin, so I end up playing paladin because paladin's alliance only. So the fact that they're doing that, it's gonna make it more appealing for me to want to play paladin or undead horde side. I'm trying to talk, drink, and think all at the same time. It's too much for someone who just woke up from a nap like half an hour ago. I guess I should set up my assist macro, but I'm too lazy. But I'm too lazy. He's taking some damage here. The guy's hitting him hard. I actually had to cast a flash heal there. Amazing. We got a crit on a heal though. Did you put 22 into like on it? Are you talking about Epoch? Yeah, I will. I will go more in deep, and I will dive deep into Epoch tonight before I go to bed. See what's going on because I haven't looked at that in a while. Last time I really seriously was looking at was about a year ago when they did their play tests. Well, I actually used some mana. On this fight. He went from not taking any damage in the previous like 6-10 pulls to taking a ton of damage there. Oh, I see the warrior showed up. Just to get his butt spanked because he ain't doing anything. He's just standing there getting his butt whooped. Do I have all my spirit gear? Yeah, I do have my spirit gear. I don't know. They can take the form of any undead. That's kind of cool. I like that stuff, Why is this warrior taking so much damage? Like, what are you doing, dude? Well, he's pulling a lot of threat. We can see that. Yeah, I know. He's two-handed. He's not the tank, though. The tank's the druid. You look at the damage taken, right? You can see the druid's taking 92% of the damage taken. So I think what he's doing, he's running up before the druid has threat and just smacking stuff and getting tons of threat. Yeah, he's ripping some threat. Let's look at his DPS per second. That's way down. So his DPS isn't that good either. I think he just ran in and hit some mobs before anybody had actually gone in and hit anything. You can see his DPS is always is like really bad. Wow, no blue item? Not even one? Doesn't he drop like a ring or something? That kind of was a bummer, wasn't it? What is that? Casting speed reduced. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. Get rid of the casting. Boy, there's a look at all these shadow word pains or whatever they're given. I'm gonna blue throw my mana, just dispelling everything. What are you doing to me, buddy? Let me. I can't cast. I'm silenced. I am silenced, dude. Silenced again. Silenced. Let it rain! Let it rain! Alright. Still in combat. Now let me get my mana back. This druid is constantly not letting me top off my mana. Which means I'm wasting my mana. I got a lot of mana though. Still, it takes me a while to top off my mana because I have so much. All right. As long as they don't silence me, we'll top him off. Spam some weak heals. Yeah, I hope we're gonna fish for some crits. Weak heals, baby. Let's get some crits. No, we don't. What's that doing? I don't have Mass Dispel. I wanted to Mass Dispel that bubble so bad. Like, I don't have Mass Dispel. Let it rain! Oh, no, he's dead. Yeah, rather than like classic setting, Burning Crusade classes, yeah, that's a lot of it. They've got like 2 or 3 new dungeons at least. And if I remember correctly, wasn't it Epoch that added the new PvP arenas? Didn't they add the new PvP zones, like one in Stranglethorn Vale, if I remember correctly? I could be wrong. There's so many different projects nowadays. But Epoch is the one that was one of the most interesting ones. I just didn't think it was going to be ready because development was so slow. There's only like a few people working on it, you know? So I was like thinking we might not see it for another like year from now. So I'm a little surprised that it's ready. $2,000. Turtle WoW's got about 10,000 at this point, I think. Turtle WoW has like a ton of quests they've added. But again, the Turtle WoW client, man, just isn't as good, you know? See if I can get my food buff in time. 5 seconds. There it is. Yeah, the remastered Dead Mines I think looks really good. I'm very excited to play the remastered Dead Mines. I think that looks fantastic. Yeah, I was just talking to Jason earlier of Austin. He's been running Dead Mines solo at like 25. So I don't know, Jason, if when I get out of this dungeon, if you want to run some, I can run you through Dead or not Dead Mines. I mean stockades. Jason, if you're up for running some stockades, I could heal you. So if you can run it solo, you're not gonna have any problems with me healing you. It'll be a cakewalk. Or Black Fathom. We could do that too. I don't think I have any other quests for BF. Yeah, I haven't. Don't have this. What is this? Phantom armor? Mail. That's a pretty good item. The warrior. Yeah, that'll work too. Yeah. My hearth right now is South Shore. I'd have to fly over to Wetlands and get back over to Ashenvale. Yeah, that's all good. I just woke up from like a 2 or 3 hour nap. I was so tired. We went to my wife's parents, and we were. I don't even remember what we were doing. It's been such a long day. We were moving a bunch of stuff over there for her nieces or something, and then oh, I was trying to set up my wife's parents' internet because they've got this router. I gave my wife's mom a computer, but the computer's in the bedroom, and their router is in like the dining room inside a real wood cabinet. And I didn't realize how much Wi-Fi signal gets killed by real wood, not like fake wood, solid real wood. And so I'm having trouble getting this computer to pick up the Wi-Fi. So, and unfortunately, my wife's father is very stubborn about not wanting to set up the computer in the same room, or the router and stuff in the same room as this computer, which would be optimal. Yeah, I can't stand Wi-Fi. They don't have like connections. They don't want to run like an Ethernet cable in there. So what I'm probably gonna end up doing, first thing I did, because they're just using like a crappy Verizon modem router. First thing I did was get a decent TP-Link router, and that's what I was setting up. And I was hoping the TP-Link, with its antennas and stuff, would give me more signal strength, but unfortunately, it's still not enough. So I'm gonna upgrade the Wi-Fi card on that computer to the TP-Link with an external antenna. And I'm hoping that with that external antenna, because it's close. I mean, it's just on the very. If I can just get like 2 bars, it'll be enough. She just needs that computer to go shopping. Her mom, let her do her shopping, Amazon, whatever. But just kind of annoying because I'm so anal when it comes to setting up my computer. Like it's very. I don't typically work on other people's computers because I program all day long. I'm the typical programmer who programs all day long. And everybody asks me to like go fix up their internet, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I do that all day long for a job. Work well, not doing that kind of stuff, but you know what I mean. Programmer would know what I mean. If you're a programmer, you know what I mean. Please don't pull. I'm trying to get some mana. Thank you. Yeah, I hate Wi-Fi. Like, of course. I mean, as a gamer, right? Wi-Fi is like sucks. But if I'm gonna set up like Wi-Fi for people, I'm gonna want the router to be in a situation that's not being blocked by anything. And anyways, just kind of frustrating that I was over there today. Spent about an hour trying to somehow try to get that to work. Oh, this guy still isn't letting me top off my mana. Gonna have to. Maybe we'll just have to help with the DPS. He's like healing him. Do you see that? He popped out to heal himself. Is he really worried that I'm like gonna let him die or something? Like he like popped out to heal himself there. Like, what's the point? Like, why bother? He was like 80% health and he had a renew on him. You know? He obviously doesn't know what it's like to heal people. like, like oh man. Like, why are you healing yourself? Oh boy. Mm. Some people just can't take it when their health gets down to like 60%. They're like, oh my god, I'm dying. Is it dying? I can't take it. Oh, so get this. You should get a laugh. You should get a laugh out of this, Faust. Oh, is that what he's doing? Oh, is that what he? Oh, okay. Now that I can understand, JP. I don't think the warrior was though. Because if you look at damage taken, he's at 90%, so the warrior can't be taking that much threat. You know, I mean, he's sitting at 90% damage taken, so I'll have to take. I wasn't really paying attention to the warrior's threat. I mean, that makes sense that he would do that, because I mean, it's like paladins, like, you know, doing greater blessing of kings on the party to generate threat, right? The same type of thing, right? Nothing generates threat better than healing. But still, I mean, if you look at the threat right here, like the warrior's not even on the table here. So I'm surprised that the warrior would have that much threat, but maybe he did. Maybe he did. Oh, I didn't look at the warrior. Let's take a look. Where's the warrior? No, I don't think so. Although mine doesn't. Does my thing not show? Am I not seeing the stance? Could be the Guild Wars 2 UI doesn't show that, but I would be a little surprised. Hmm. But I gotta tell you something that was funny. I went into a Dead Mines run. This was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, and the tank was a paladin. And this is the first time any paladin has ever said this to me. I threw a bubble on him, and one of the things I love about paladins is I can just bubble them, because you know they're not rage-based classes, so it's not like a. He messaged me and said, "Don't bubble me. I want to do damage with my aura." So obviously he must have had Retribution Aura. Well, first off, if you're a paladin tanking in a dungeon, you really shouldn't be using Retribution Aura. You should be using Devotion Aura, because it's just a better benefit for the entire party, right? If people in your party getting hit, it's nice to get the extra armor. And you're not really generating a ton of threat from Retribution Aura, especially at low level. Like his overall DPS from Ret Aura, I checked at that time, was like, you know, it's like 2.2%. So it's generating like very little threat. So I just thought that was hilarious that a paladin's like messaging me saying, "Don't bubble me because I want to do damage with my aura." I'm like, oh, you're a paladin in vanilla, man. You're gonna struggle with threat no matter what. Yeah. I mean, we all know the beauty of the Paladin is AoE tanking, so... Yeah, I just thought that was funny. I'd never had a Paladin message me and tell me, don't bubble me because, you know, you're not letting my aura do damage. I'm like, okay. People try to min-max WoW too much these days, you know. Just play the game, baby. Just play the game. Don't speak to me, or I was so the gate. Yeah. Yeah, that was the first for me. That was the first time. I mean, I've played this game a long time, and I've never heard of a Pally complain if I throw a bubble on him. Most Pallys love it because, you know, it's great. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, Bubble's one of the strongest defenses a priest has, and it really sucks that warriors and druids are like, don't want the bubble because, you know, they're not taking damage, so they're not generating threat. Warriors cry like little girls when you bubble them. They're like, I can't do rage star. You know what I mean? They can't take it. But it makes sense. I mean, I get it. I understand why. And I don't ever bubble a warrior or a druid unless I need time to get off a heal. Like if I see he's taking a ton of damage, I'll bubble him just to give me a split second to get off like a greater, you know, like a greater heal or you know, a slower casting heal, to, you know, to like top him off. Like here, I'm casting my slowest heal, but it's a big heal, right? And so if I'm worried that might not land in time, I might bubble somebody first, you know. And in fact, a lot of tanks will get killed because they yell at the healer so much, you know. For ooh, those are pretty good. I don't think it's better than mine though. Yeah, I'll just roll greed. I'm really hoping that the chest drops because that would be a pretty good upgrade for me. But I think a lot of healers probably let their tanks die in certain situations because they're afraid to bubble them because they're so worried about getting yelled at for bubbling. You know what I mean? So they'll like try to just straight up heal somebody when they need to bubble heal, because bubble heal is like a really, it's just a really good tactic when you're worried about maybe not getting a heal that's going to land in time. You know. I don't know why I bubbled myself there. I just felt like it. Just felt like bubbling myself there. Oh, and see, I need mana after this. Unless he's been pulling, and I really haven't had a chance to get mana. Let's see if he reads the text. He said, yeah, okay, cool. I don't want to go to the final fight with no mana. There we go. What rings do I have? I've got the Band of Purification just for the spirit, +6 spirit, and then I've got the Lavishly Jeweled Ring, which has the +6 intellect from Dead Mines. You got the spirit? Yeah, I've got that one. Yeah, that's oh yeah, that one. I know which one you mean. Yeah. I know which one you mean. I've seen that in the auction house. I have pretty good gear. Like, I actually have really good gear. Where'd he go? Wait. You just LOS, just like LOS me. Like, dude, what are you doing? What is he doing? I can't heal these people. What the fuck? Stop. Everybody's like LOSing me. What? See, this is not how you tank this, guys. You don't chase Aragol. Oh, God. Oh. Oh, there we go. Okay, I do need that. The robes of Aragol, so that's cool. Yeah, he like LOS me by going down the steps, and the mage LOS me, but I don't know where the mage went. I was just like, you guys are making this hard, man. Let's see if I win? Did I lose? I lost. I rolled an 87 and lost. The guy rolled a 96. All right. Yeah, thanks, JP. Yeah, I definitely tweaked the visuals to make it look better. Blazing boots. Those actually might sell in the auction house. Those are pretty good. Um, I haven't healed in a long time. It's been a long time since I've really like healed much, so I can be kind of annoying. I can get annoyed by people, like when they're doing stupid shit because I've just played this game too long. So I have to apologize when I get annoyed at people. I'm like, why are you LOSing me? But really, like in this fight, I mean, really, I think the best way to do this fight is just to run, kill the boss and just run down here and just fight him right here, because if he teleports up, you know, you can easily LOS him, right, and make him come to you. Don't fight it. Don't run up and attack him here, because what happens is he's going to port over here, and then you're gonna have these other people that are gonna try to like arrange casters and stuff, and you're just gonna end up with people all over the area, and that's what happened there. The tank was here, the mage was like down here, and then the mage was getting killed, and the tank tried to run over here, and it just made everything a lot more difficult. So, um, you basically, well, I'm using a third-party add-on called, Reshade, so you can just download that from go to reshade.me, right? If you type it right, reshade.me, M-E, and you can just download. Just download this and just install it. Very easy to install. You can go to Sage. Do I not have it on here? Yeah, when you run the installer, it's going to look something like this. It's going to come up, and you're going to basically point to a game client. Like, let's see. Like, I don't know if that's really the right launcher though. All these stupid screenshots. Yeah, so you'd like point to like an exe. So you'd want to find out where your exe is. A lot of different ways you can find out. And you can just say browse, put in your exe, right? And then you're just going to go next, and it's going to ask you which version of DirectX that you're using. And for WoW, for this version, I think it's 10, 11, 12. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember for sure, but it's 10, 11, 12. If that doesn't work, you can just run the setup again and get to this screen again. And just pick 9. But I'm pretty sure it's 10, 11, 12 for this. And then once you go to the next screen, it's just going to ask what kind of filters you want to choose, and you can look at what I have currently. I'm using adaptive sharpen, colorfulness, curves, levels, luma sharpen, and vibrance. These are the ones I use. But if you take these off, right, you can see that this is what WoW would normally look like a base vanilla WoW, like without any filters. It just looks like this. So it's very bland, right? So, sharpen's big because, as you can see, my face is very blurry, right? See how blurry my face is? So just by adding in the sharpness, you're going to get much more clarity. Also, it's really good for streaming to have the sharpen tuned up a little bit, because it's going to make like my icons and text and all that stuff a lot easier to read for people watching the stream. And then, get these in here, and you can see it's a huge difference. It's almost too much, to be honest, but I do like it rich in color. Some people may not like it this colorful, but I do. So my colorfulness, but we can easily dial this down if you want. You can dial it up, down, just with the colorfulness filter. Yeah, the base game looks very dull, for sure. So I want to go back and finish looking at the project Epoch. And it is pronounced Epoch, by the way, guys. I know first time I saw it, I just assumed it was Epic because you know, like Epic, ooh, it's Epic, right? But it's actually pronounced Epoch, which is kind of funny. So let's take a look. Okay, Molten Core. Do they have events overhauled professions? I wonder. Okay, so they've got overhauled professions. Let's get rid of this. Sounds awful, by the way. Um, let's take a look at these professions really quick. Okay, they've got Enchanting Rings, greater spell power. Damage healing done by spells affected by 6. That's awesome. I like this. I mean, obviously, one of the easiest ways you delete all the retail running WoW on. You deleted retail running WoW on max graphics. That was nice. So you say you don't play any retail WoW is what you're saying. Okay. But the one thing that it would be easy, we always talk about Classic Plus. I talk about it all the time. And Blizzard's working on a Classic Plus right now. We know they are, right? But the one of the things about Classic Plus where you could easily make the game better is professions, because professions are so, I don't want to say they're bad, but they feel so incomplete. Like, for example, you can't craft a bow in World of Warcraft Classic, which just seems stupid, right? You can craft wands, you can craft pretty much almost every weapon type, except you can't, I don't think you can craft staffs. Maybe someone correct me if I'm wrong, but do you ever craft staffs? There's no bows. You can craft daggers, swords, maces. Yeah, I don't think you can craft staffs. So, yeah, we should be able to craft staffs. You should be able to craft bows. You should be able to do a lot more stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff with fishing that isn't, that they really haven't explored that too. There's more things you could add for fishing, but definitely crafting in general, like, especially like at low levels. I mean, you think about leveling a character from like 1 to 30, there isn't a lot of gear you can craft. Like, say, let's say, for example, like a rogue, right? There's not a lot of gear you can craft for a rogue from level 1 to 30. There's some, but it's not a lot. Maybe there's like 5 or 10 meaningful items, You're going to be back later. All right, Jason, good to see you, man. But like one of the things that we talked about, Vols, and I think we mentioned it before too, was one of the things I would love to see in a Classic Plus would be more gear sets. I would love to see like gray gear sets. Like I would love to see a gear set for a rogue called like the rags, called like the beggars set, and it would just be like it would be called like beggars rags, and they'd be like these torn raggy like just cloth or like leather, really torn shredded up leather that would make you look like a beggar. And the benefit of the set when you get the set items is it would increase your stealth because you're more likely to not be noticed by people in a major city because you just look like some beggar, so people just kind of ignore you. They don't want to look at you because they feel bad for you, so they don't want to look at you. It's like how when you go into a city in our world and you see like people begging for money, sometimes you don't really want to make eye contact with them because you don't really want to deal with them. Same thing, like same concept, right? Yeah, like reduced threat range. But yeah, I would say the beggars vestments or something. But I would love to see more set-based gear in WoW. I think that's something that's completely missed on. There's not enough, and I'm talking about like low level. To me, in general, for Classic Plus, that's one of the biggest areas I would focus on is the level 1 to 30. What can we do to make level 1 to 30 better? First off, I would increase the difficulty across the board. I would make the difficulty of leveling much more difficult. And then to compensate for, because people are going to cry like babies, because they always cry like babies when you make things hard, because they just, whatever. But to compensate for that, then I would enhance the systems to kind of play into that. And one of the things we would do is we would make the craft more stuff that would help the fact that you don't have great gear or the fact that the leveling is more difficult from 1 to 30. Give people some cool set items. Make there be a need. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to provide a need for the player. If the content's more difficult, then they need something to make it easier, right? So if I just added all this cool new stuff without making the content any more difficult than it is currently, we would feel like we're making it overpowered too, and we would be trivializing the content. We don't want to trivialize the content. We want to make the content stay as good as it is or really better. So there's that balance. There's always a balance, right? What's up, Zalzin? How you doing, Zalzin? Especially when you can't really afford stuff. Yeah, yeah, and that's the other cool thing too, is what you just said, JP. Is if you can't really afford stuff, then crafting becomes a great way to go. Yeah. How's your back doing, Zalzin? I hope it's feeling okay these days. Me and my wife were packing today. My wife's packed most of the apartment already. Like already. We're not even moving until like July. I think our move date's July 4th. Like the actual movers are coming here, I think, on the 4th of July. Is that right? That can't be right because it's a holiday. It's right around July 4th. So, but she's already got almost everything packed. Because that's my wife. That's where my wife rolls, you know. But yeah, I think when you first start out, you can't really afford stuff, and so for sure, like, yeah, I've already the chaos and yeah. So, but I think yeah, when you don't have a lot of money, professions become a really cool. Again, that provides JP. That provides a need, right? Like being broke in an MMO at the beginning, like level one, like one of like survival games do it really well, right? Like when you play a survival game, you're like, well, I'm playing a survival game, so I have to craft, right? Like I have to get like a stone pick so I can mine like stone, so I can get some stone, and then with the stone I can maybe craft like a stone dagger or something, or maybe I can mine like some sort of copper ore. You know what I mean? There's like a progression to it, but none of it costs money, right? It's like I go and I kill. Like in New World does a pretty good job with this too. Like in New World, like the original New World, like when you first had to make bows, like first had to make arrows in New World, you had to kill turkeys to get the feathers. And I think it might still work like this, but it was much more difficult in the earlier versions of New World. Like you had to go and kill a bunch of turkeys and get the feathers, and then you had to go and get like break up a bunch of branches and get those twigs, and then you had to level up your campsite to a certain level before you could even like make arrows. It's like just getting to the point where you could make arrows in New World like used to be like used to take time, you know. And anyways, but I mean, I think that's cool. You know, I think everything should be in the beginning, like having that need of you at level one having no money and no gear. The need is why I need money. I need gear. So you have to put in systems that people can focus on as a progression, right? And one of the ways to progress would be those, yeah, like those RPG. What's up, Turtle? One of those ways to progress is to work the system. And so, what system are you working? Well, one of the best ones is I think professions in general in classic WoW is probably the biggest miss. Like it's the biggest miss. Like there's so many things they can improve in the professions that would make classic vanilla WoW feel so much better. You know, like focus on the content being more difficult so that like leveling to level 10 is harder, but to offset that feeling of it making it more difficult, make the characters focus on like professions or some other aspect of the game. Like maybe you can like Black Desert has a really cool system of enmity, and it's basically just reputation, right? It's basically a reputation system. But the cool thing about Black Desert is you can build up that reputation by doing mini games. Like you can go to a vendor, you can go to like a trade vendor and try to trade them like fish that you caught for money, and they can say, well, I'm going to give you so much money for this fish. You can haggle with them, you know, and say, you know what, I want more money or something. You know what I mean? You can haggle, and if you succeed in your efforts to haggle somebody, then you generate more goodwill with that particular NPC. So in the future, when you try to sell stuff to him, you're gonna probably have a better chance to maybe haggle for better prices. I think that's a great system. You know, I would like to see something like that, you know, more often, where you basically build up, kind of like you're building up a rapport with specific characters that are NPCs in the world, you know, and that gives you an advantage over another player who doesn't take the time to build up rapport with, you know, with an NPC. So I mean, yeah, the RPG elements. I love RPG. So Zalzin, I don't know if you saw, but it looks like the Project Epoch is releasing a lot sooner than I thought it was going to. If we go to the Discord, they did a launch trailer that came out today. We're excited to welcome you to the world of Epoch on July 26th. Additional information regarding launch time, name reservations, how to download our client, and stress test will be shared in the next few weeks. So it looks like we might be playing some Project Epoch really soon. And that's going to be pretty big. I think it'll be big, you know? I think. Yeah, there it is. How many guitars do I have? I have 13. Moment. Used to have around 20, but sold the ones didn't like. Let's see. Okay, so let's look at the Project Epoch difficulty. Okay. Azeroth has been rewarded as a world of true danger. On Project Epoch, creatures are harder to survive longer and unleash powered abilities, pushing players to rise to the challenge. Whether you're braving the open world, facing down elite threats, or diving into dungeons, every encounter now demands skill, strategy, and sharp teamwork. The world needs more bite. Let's be honest, Azeroth has always leaned a bit too easy. It is too easy. This became painfully clear when the release of WoW Classic continues today on Classic Era servers. Creatures hit like wet noodles. Yes, they do. Have low armor, rarely cast abilities, no role provided, less than intense challenge. This is something that's overlooked a lot on MMOs too, is rarely cast abilities. And one of the games that did a good job of using abilities was Terra. Like in the early versions of Terra, like when Terra first came out, like just regular mobs in the world that you would fight, just regular ones, like not even like elites, would have special abilities that they would cast fairly frequently, and they would do damage. Like there'd be times like when you played Terra where you were going up against like a mob and you were just playing it like you played World of Warcraft. You're like, oh yeah, I'll pull 3 of these mobs. They're the same level as me. How hard can it be? And those 3 mobs would have like these special abilities. And one might be like a ogre with a mace, and he would do this like 360 spin. And if you were fighting 3 of them, and like 2 out of the 3 decided to do their little 360 spin, and you happened to be within range of that, your health would go from like 100% to like 50% in like half a second. And you'd be like, holy shit, you know? And if all 3 of them decide to spin at the same time, they could just kill you, you know? And so you definitely need, I think most MMOs don't really have that. They don't really have those types of mechanics on just regular plain Jane mobs, you know? Which is unfortunate. Ooh, Bubble Healer Mold Core. We'll see if we can get maybe another Shadowfang keep run. What do you think? Dungeons. Me and this other. And we could try to storm my stockade. What are my professions? I am a tailor. Let's go back. All right, so yeah, I was just saying that like rarely cast abilities. And creatures in hit like wet noodles have low armor and rarely cast abilities in vanilla WoW, of course. No role provided less than intense challenge. We spent countless hours rebalancing the world using modern data and fresh design approaches, reshaping Azeroth into a far more dangerous, immersive landscape. See, that's exciting. That's like super exciting. Because, you know, like I said, vanilla is way too easy. Especially now that the game's so old. Project Epoch introduced extra talent points and stronger early game gear. And again, this is what I was talking about. You have a need for characters to need stronger gear because the game's more challenging. So now you have stronger early game gear to offset the fact that you've made the mobs more dangerous. This is that balancing act that you have to play, right? Unintentionally making the world even easier than... they're saying Project Epoch introduced extra talent even easier than intended. We quickly realized manual creature tweaks wouldn't cut it. We needed a scalable system that can increase difficulty across the board while preserving the spirit. Okay, that's pretty cool. Of the Blizzard experience without crushing the fun. Oh, here's a Belgar. Let's check this out. So we've got a Belgar encounter test. So this is Belgar in Blackrock Depths, and they're testing out the difficulty of their systems here. Yeah, I hope it does also. It does look really interesting, and I've been watching Project Epoch for about 2 or 3 years. I've been. Well, let's see how long have I been a member of the server. Just curious. I think you can tell how long you've been a member on a specific private server. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, Project Epoch here. If I go here, do I have to find my name here, or can I do it here? Let's see. Um, how do you? That's one thing about here. No, where is it? Edit server profile. Is that on here? I was hoping it would show like how long I've been a member. It's one thing about Discord I don't like. It's hard to find out how long you've been a member. Oh well. Oh well. But I've been talking about Project Epoch for a very long time. I think 2 to 3 years I've been a member of the server. Um, but let's look at this Belgar test. Is that what it is? Yeah. I just think I was trying to figure out when I even created my Discord account, and even that I couldn't figure out how to see what it was. But okay, so here's the Belgar encounter on Project Epoch. One thing I'm interested in looking at, and one thing, if you look at games in general, right? I know I'm getting on these tangents, but if you look at games in general, one of the things I look at when a new MMO is coming out is I look at the enemy. I don't look at the player. I look at the enemy, and I look, what is he doing? What is he doing? And if you look at, for example, we know we were talking a lot about um, Chrono Odyssey, right? And Chrono Odyssey looks good, right? Like it looks pretty cool. But one of the things I always look at, combat game, weapon showcase. Where's the new one? Let's go to where's their actual official here? Let's go to the official Chrono Odyssey, and there was a gameplay walkthrough.
Space and time.
So, is there one? Actually, probably the other video would have been better, right? This one. Is there one? I want to see if there's one with a boss. And so what I was talking about is when I look at these games, a lot of times I'm looking at the enemy. What is he doing? This isn't the best enemy to look at, but is he just like see how he's just standing there? So like how long between attacks, right? 'Cause there's one attack. Of course, this game feels more like a Souls game, so there might not always be a lot of combat. Like so right now I've seen that was his third attack. I've seen him do fourth attack, fifth attack. You know, that's a lot of that's what I look at is I look at the enemy and I'm like how April 22nd, 2023. Oh, is that what? That's you could tell. So you could actually tell. Okay, so April, January, February, March. So that's 2 years. 2 years and a couple months. Yeah. Thanks, Alson. But a lot of times when I'm looking at a new game that's coming out, and they're showing combat, I'm looking at the enemy because I want to see what he's doing. I want to see what kind of abilities is he doing. I want to see how often is he attacking. Like, there's nothing I hate more than looking at a new MMO come out and they show these really cool combat systems. Like, oh, look at this great combat we have in our MMO. And yeah, sure, if you look at the player, you see all these flashy moves and dodge rolls and combinations. And I'm like, but if you look at the enemy's not doing anything. He looks like a freaking target dummy. He's just standing there while you're just beating the hell out of him, and he's not doing anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, this is a shaman with a shield, with a sword and a shield. That's you bring up a great point too. I hate that shit. I don't think you should be allowed to tank. I mean, to me, I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to tank without a shield, but I think it should be so difficult that you don't want to. You know what I mean? You shouldn't want to because it just makes it much more difficult. Yeah, which dungeon are we doing here? I'm gonna. Which dungeon? Which dungeon? Oops, I misspelled it. Dungeon. I'm thinking they're gonna say stockades. Yep, stock. Okay. All right, stockades.
Light be with you. Light bless you.
Yeah, but I think it should be. I think the game should be scaled such that it's so difficult that if you're going to tank, that like it's just kind of dumb not to use a shield because it makes your life a lot more difficult because the shield gives you that much more protection. So, but he's got a shield. See, he's got a shield in his left hand. See, like you can see, he's got a shield. This guy's so you're not wrong, Zelson. You know, he's got the shield right here, shield and the sword. But what I was saying is, look at the enemy and like, what's the enemy doing? Like you run up here and the enemy hasn't done anything, right? He's just standing there. So, okay, now he does a foot attack. Now he turns. He does some other attack. Of course, the other foot attack. Of course, any big boss that moves is going to do damage if they just walk on you. So, like, just because he's walking, right? Did did like 20% damage to the party when he knocked him in the air. Foot attack. Didn't see him take a ton of damage. The tank, he's taking some damage here. Down to 1600. Healed up to 3000. The health pools look about right. I mean, look, when you're doing BRD and you're a tank, you're going to be around 4500 health. That's actually pretty accurate. Yeah, I dislike that too. Like, you hate the min-maxers tanking when hybrid dual wheels build because the spec was meant to actually tank. Yeah. Yeah, I hate that too. I absolutely can't stand that. Like, I hate the fact there's a couple things I hate. I really just like going into a dungeon as a healer and my tank is like a warrior with a two-hand sword. I'm just like, come on, really? And the thing is, yeah, sure, the two-handed warrior or the dual wielding warrior may generate more threat, but he's definitely going to take way more damage, you know. And he's definitely going to he's definitely going to take more damage, so you're going to have to heal more often. So to me personally, my way of looking at threat was other characters need to manage threat. They need to understand that if they're taking a lot of threat, they need to ease off their DPS. The problem with vanilla WoW is the DPS players all think it's a DPS race because of the damage meters, right? That's the other thing. I would ban damage meters entirely. I would, in my MMO, if I ever create one, which I do want to make one day when the AI is way better, and I'm retired sitting in my cabin in the woods somewhere, I would never allow, I would never allow DPS. I would never allow damage meters, unless he was asking who's healing. I didn't realize we have two priests in our group. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I guess we've got two priests and we're both set up as healers. That's no worries. But yeah, I don't like it when like so my thought process is like the min maxers in WoW, they always try to everybody's looking at the damage meter, they're trying to flex their little e-peens, you know what I mean? And so they're pushing damage. So of course then they're going to generate more threat. And that's a problem. The longer WoW's been out, the more that's become a problem. Like in the original game back in 2004, people weren't pushing the damage meter so much because they didn't know how to spec their characters to do a lot of damage. But also the DPS, the damage meter didn't really exist in vanilla. I think it first showed up in TBC, but people weren't so focused on pushing max damage. They were just focused on the encounter being a successful encounter. So it was all about just, heal the tank, let the tank tank. So if the tank was losing threat because you were a rogue and you were doing so much damage, it was your responsibility as a rogue to do less damage, or to do whatever you needed to do to drop threat because it was the tank's job to take the damage. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. No, it is very impressive. No, I agree. But it also feels like it is impressive, but it also feels cheap. And to me, it feels a little cheap that they get like every buff known to man. They get like every single buff known to. They've basically min-maxed the game to, to a level where it's been trivialized. They've trivialized the game in a lot of respects. Yeah, I don't think to me tryharding. Yeah, I agree with Vols. I'm not really a big fan of being like I've got because like if you notice, and I think Cargos probably feels the same way as me to a certain degree because if you notice, Cargos hardly ever raids. Like Cargos when he plays on hardcore servers, he levels up, but you don't see him raid that much. And I think the reason he doesn't raid is because I don't think he likes the idea of having to run around and get every single buff and having to be like super min maxy. I just think it's kind of like it's kind of annoying. It's just not fun. Yeah. It just feels like a job. When the game starts to feel like a job, then that's when I lose interest. Yeah, and I still go against the norm, Turtle. I play melee hunter and protection. Like if you look at this server, my characters on this server are melee hunter, protection paladin, and this priest. And this priest who's not really against the grain really. She's just a priest. I heal whatever. I definitely go against the norm. That's for sure. Yeah, I always level protection on the paladin. It's so much fun. I actually want to get back to that, but the problem these days is I never can complete what I start, and people I think get really mad at me. But the problem is there's always something that's coming out like distracting me, and it's not just me. I think a lot of people face this problem. What I'm saying is it's very difficult. Like I always wanted to be like, oh, I want to level this character from 1 to 60. But then something like Project Epoch comes out, or Blizzard announces anniversary servers, and everybody quits the server they're on because guess what? It's fresh. Anytime there's a fresh server, everybody wants to go play there. So or like Cargos doing the Deviant Delight community event, which was really fun. And so it was just, you know, it's just so difficult. Like it's yeah, there's constant FOMO. I was really looking forward to leveling this character to 60 going into the Burning Crusade, and now Project Epoch's coming out in a month. And that's going to totally derail what I was trying to do because I'm not the kind of person who can spend 8 hours a day playing WoW. I can't do that, right? I have to work. When I get off work, I have to try to somehow spend time with my wife. I got to spend time with the dog. I got to take care of the dog. I got to play with the cats. I try to like have a life outside of. If I was single, it'd be different. If I was like single, I could get off work and I could spend 8 10 hours every day just playing WoW, and then I could do different stuff. But because I can only put in like maybe 3 hours a day, it's best if I just put all that into the same game, and not split my time. You know. So it's frustrating. Like I'm excited for Project Epoch because I think it looks great, but it makes me sad too because I'm like, oh great, this is gonna be another thing that pulls me away from what I was trying to do with this character. And the hardcore servers were like that too. Remember when they did official hardcore? That pulled me away. I was playing like on Gravitas, then hardcore servers came out. Then I was playing on Skullrock. Then something else came out, and I think then it was like Season Discovery came out, and then we tried Season Discovery, and then we went off of Season Discovery, and we did the Deviant Delight. We did Deviant Delight's community servers, and then the more hardcore, and that was yeah. Then they released anniversary servers, and we started doing Skullrock anniversary. We started doing the PvP. I'm sorry, the hardcore anniversary servers, and then those servers died, so we decided to go back to the regular anniversary server, which the PvP one, which is this one. Just the constant bouncing around. It's frustrating sometimes. So yeah, I don't. If Epoch has, yeah, and the thing is, Epoch. The one thing about Epoch that I saw them doing that I was that I was kind of not a fan of is I think a lot of the private servers feel like they have to do certain things that other servers do, which I really would like private servers not to feel that way. To me, if you're going to make a private server, you just need to carve out a niche for yourself. Like carve out like a little area and do it really well. And I think MMOs in general need to do that. Stop trying to replicate everything from every other MMO. Stop trying to be like, well, I've got to be great at everything, otherwise no one's going to play on my server. That's not necessarily true. Now, if you want to have a huge population, yes, that is true. But if you just want to have a solid player base, figure out what it is you want your game to be and just be really good at that. If you just want to be a PvP game, or I don't know. So, all right, we got a paladin tank. You know, I love my paladin tanks. Oh, it's somebody. I was gonna bubble him, but he's already bubbled by the other priest. Oh, this is weird. I can't bubble or heal him because the other priest is already healing him and stuff. So I guess I'll just focus on not doing renews and. Yeah, that was kind of my point. Is I felt like by doing hardcore and certain things, it felt like they were trying to go after Turtle Wow. I felt like they were trying to say, well, Turtle Wow's the big kid on the block, and we have to, you know, we have to do this if we want to like knock them off the king of the mountain or whatever, so to speak. Yeah, but it is crazy um, how competitive the private server scene has become. I mean, it is very competitive. You know. Yeah, for sure, it is. I wonder. Let's reset the damage meter. Let's see what kind of damage I can do. I mean, we've got a healer and you're healing already, so I'm just gonna focus on trying to do a little bit of damage. I'm not sure how much damage I'll be able to do, but where did he go? Like I could hear him in combat, but I was like, where is he? He was like behind us. I don't know who's healing him. Is she healing him? Am I healing him? It's like one minute she's healing him, and the next minute she's not healing him. I guess I better focus on just healing. Who needed water? Scroll. Oh, here. Yeah, so But I mean, Project Epoch has the opportunity because there's a niche. Because like the thing with Turtle WoW is the client is old and the server doesn't. In my opinion, the server doesn't run that well. It's laggy. There's a lot of like some screen sharing. It's just not a super smooth running client. Um, and so and and just the fact that they're doing Project Epoch on Wrath of the Lich King gives them a huge advantage. I mean, that's a huge advantage right off the bat. So if you can just and Turtle WoW really hasn't done a ton with professions. They added like some new professions, but they really didn't tweak the original ones. Not that I remember. Not in any way that was very. I can't remember them really tweaking. Maybe they have, but I don't remember them really tweaking the existing professions, like adding like like new recipes or anything like that. So yeah, I think they focus on. I think they focus on like like what's the word? Not content or quality. They focus on the amount, like how much can they push out. They're focusing on like I can't think of the word, man. They're focusing on like how much they can put out, like how many new quests they can put out, and how many new items instead of the quality. And they're focusing on like why can't my brain not work right now? You guys know what I mean. They're focusing on the count, not the quality, the amount. Focus on the amount, not the quality or the, you know what I mean? I don't really want to say content, but they're just focusing on the amount of content. Yeah, quantity. Thank you, Vols. Quantity. I couldn't think of the word. My brain just wasn't working. But to me, it feels like they're focusing on quantity over quality, right? Like how much stuff can they add? That's like because if you look at Turtle WoW, they've added lots of really cool stuff. I think the best stuff that Turtle WoW did was the zones they added. They added zones in the game that weren't there before. I mean, the areas of the world were there; they were just empty. And Turtle WoW just put stuff in those areas, like they did in the wetlands, like they did in Tirisfal Glades. That to me is where Turtle WoW has done its best work. And then of course the quests. They've added a lot of cool quests too. And the other thing Turtle WoW did, which is something that was needed, is they added quests that gave items at lower levels because there really isn't a lot of. I don't know if it was really needed though, because we don't really want characters to be overpowered. I talked about that earlier. Like, you have to have difficulty. The content has to be challenging. But one thing Turtle WoW did do was they started adding quests that gave pretty good rewards. Like they had a quest that's like a level 6 quest that might give you like a +1, you know, +1 strength, +1 stamina sword or something. Which there isn't a lot of quests at like levels 1 to 5, 1 to 6 that really give you like magical gear, Which again, there's nothing really wrong with that. I actually kind of prefer it that way. Yeah. I couldn't believe I couldn't remember that, Vol. So I'm like, I was trying to think of that phrase. Like, what is this phrase? But yeah, yeah, quantity over quality. This is what happens when you get older, guys. Your brain just you start to lose that sharpness, which sucks, man. Totally sucks. But but Project Epoch has it. There is an opportunity there, and I think one of the things that the big difference between Project Epoch and Turtle Wow, obviously the client itself, but it's the development tools. The tools they're using for developing their custom content are way more powerful than what Turtle Wow has. So it gives them the ability to do a lot more with textures, a lot more with the scale of the world. They're able to carve out, and you see that in the Dead Mines rework, right? How they raise the height of the ceilings, the height of the tunnels. Like they've drastically changed. Whereas Turtle Wow hasn't really drastically changed the landscape so much. It's just using what's already there and just sticking stuff into it. You know, sticking some NPCs or some mobs in there and creating some quests. You know, they haven't really changed the actual physical layout of the world that much, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think that's, you know, so I think Epoch could be really good. We'll find out, but I do think it has a chance to be really. It could be a very successful private server. And we really haven't had one of those in a while. Like, I mean, Turtle Wow is the only one that's been consistently, you know, successful. Hey, Lost, what's up? How's it going, man? Lost, are you getting excited about Project Epoch? I know you are, Lost. I know that's what you're gonna say. You came into my stream because you're like, hey, Calf, have you heard about Project Epoch? I just know it. I know you're gonna say it, Lost. You skipping your kid's birthday for it? Oh no, dude. It could be good. It's promise. It's a promising. It's always been a promising project because of the fact that it's on Wrath of the Lich King. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would love to see that too. You know, there's just like I would love to see I would love to see hardcore TBC. That would be great. I just don't even understand why Blizzard doesn't do it, but there's just so many different games, you know, it's so many versions of WoW, and it's exciting, but it's also annoying. I've been talking about it in the stream already, but it's like it can be really frustrating because you want to, you know, you want to be able to play a certain version of the game, and he took a healing potion. He wasted your healing potion. You can't play anything about. Yeah, I got to the point. I got to one point where I was playing hardcore, and I felt the same way. Like I couldn't play anything but hardcore. But then the hardcore servers died. Like those servers just died. You know. Yeah, true. Yeah, it just drives me. But yeah, those servers died. Remember? And so it was like, like, what am I gonna, where are you going to get to play? You know. So I can't. This is the only really server that had a really good population that looked like it could be fun. But I definitely miss hardcore. I love hardcore. Having that, knowing that when you die, your character's gone, it just adds so much more to the game. You know what I mean? It really does. What do you mean? What is Project Epoch? You just said that you love Project Epoch. So why are you asking me what is Project Epoch? Why are you asking me what is Project Epoch when you just said 2 seconds ago you love it and you're skipping your kid's birthday for it? It doesn't really make sense. If you love it and you're skipping your kid's birthday for it, it seems to me you would already know what it is. Yeah, it's Epoch. It's not Epic. It's Epoch. That's how it's pronounced. It's not pronounced Epic. It's pronounced Epoch. Uh, okay, I'm just confused. I'm just kind of confused why you're asking me about it when you just said you love it and you're skipping your son's birthday for it. That would make me think that you already knew what it was. What's I don't know. Go to the website and look at it. I'm not gonna. There's a lot of stuff that Go to the YouTube channel. Watch some videos on it. You'll learn all about it. I don't really understand how you can love it and skip your kid's birthday for it and know nothing about it though. You're weird, Lost. You're very weird. Wow, what? Oh, I don't have the chat. I don't have the rolls. He rolled 100 on someone. I don't even know what he's rolling on. Guess they were rolling for a chest or something. I don't know. What's up, Kapupa? Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, Kapupa. How you doing? Kapupa, did you see the Project Epoch? They're coming out in, like 3 weeks or something? Or was it July? They're releasing their private server here within the next, I think in July. Damn, this guy's really... Why am I not casting? Was I, like, silenced or something? That was weird. You find in Diablo 3? Ew, God. Why would you play Diablo? Diablo? Yeah, I don't really like Diablo. I mean, I like Diablo 1, Diablo 2, but after Diablo 2, I really didn't play Diablo anymore. I'm not too, I mean, Mr. Pandaria, I'm more excited for TBC class, for Anniversary TBC than I am for Mr. Pandaria, you know? Okay, I'm out of mana. I guess we'll take a mana potion. Warlords of Draenor. Yeah, I'm way more excited for Anniversary TBC than I am for Mr. Pandaria. But there's just too many games. I've said it's like crazy, man. There's too many versions of World of Warcraft. It's gotten to the point of being just laughable. It's like, how many versions do we need? You know, hardcore, anniversary. There's the original classic that's progressing into Mr. Pandaria, and then we've got the anniversary that's progressing into, you know, that's progressing into TBC or these MOP. You've got private servers. Nobody talks about retail because retail is a steaming pile of dog shit, right? It's funny how, yeah, retail's talked about the least because retail is, well, I mean, we're not in the retail circles here on my stream, right? This is not the circles of retail. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Kabuki, I think you're right. It'll just be raid logging. I agree with you 100%. I'm gonna play my hunter. I think I'm gonna take a break from the priest for a little bit. Just let her build up some rest time because she's like level 25. People don't talk like this about retail because most people play retail, so they don't have. Yeah, there's only one version of retail. That's true. Yeah, there's only one retail.
What can I do for you?
That is true.
For the Alliance.
Oh, I actually won the leather. Binds one equip. What is this? Is this like druid gear? Yeah, this is like this is like a druid item. Who else could use it? Really, I guess just a healing druid, really. That's about it. Yeah, there's way too many versions of WoW. I've said it for so long. You know. And then we've got Project Epoch, which is coming out on the 27th, right? The announcements. Two hours until the premiere of our launch trailer. Okay, so July 26th is when this is coming out. Genuinely the most premium looking custom private server today. The smart choice to use 3.3.5 means their custom scripted quests are really great quality. Looking forward to this so much. Literally, the only reason I can't stay on Turtle WoW is the very outdated WoW client. It's beyond annoying. See, this is what I've talked about. People always ask me why I don't play Turtle WoW, and this is why. Because I'm tired. I don't like the 1.12 client anymore. It's just clunky. Also, Turtle WoW has a lot of lag spikes, which seems kind of silly that they're doing hardcore mode, and yet you could die at any minute because the server has so many lag spikes. Let's take a look at the rest of the stuff here on on Epoch, right? So they talked about Power Creep. Project Epoch uses extra talent points and stronger early game gear, which unintentionally made the world even easier. And then they quickly realized the manual creatures tweaks wouldn't cut it. We need a scalable system that can increase difficulty across the board while preserving the spirit of the Blizz-like experience without crushing the fun. The Epoch adjustment. We developed a custom system to scale core creature attributes like health, armor, melee damage, and spell power. The first three were simple percentage buffs, but spell power that took things further. We crafted custom versions of thousands of creature spells, buffed the potency, and reattached them to the creatures. As a result, you'll face not just tougher creatures, but ones wielding noticeably stronger magic and abilities. Yeah, playing on Turtle does feel weird. It just, and I played on Turtle a lot, like 3 or 4 years ago when it first, when it was more in its infancy. I played on it quite a bit, and I had a lot of fun on it. But then I played on it before Classic even came out. I think when did Classic come out? 2019. I think I might have been playing on Turtle a while before Classic was even released. And at that point, it didn't feel quite so bad because we weren't playing on the 1.14 client. Once we got on the Classic 1.14 client that came out in 2019, you get spoiled because the 1.14 client's fantastic. It's a great client, right? Revelation was pretty bad though. Our adjustments go far beyond simply increasing raw damage. We've enhanced a wide range of creature spells, including elements of school magic damage like Fire, Frost, Shadow, health leech abilities, weapon strikes, and mana burns that sap your resources. I think adding mana burns in is a good choice because that can really weaken. That can really cause a lot of havoc. Direct heals, and periodic damage effects have all been strengthened alongside improvements to damage, shields, absorb, buff, stats, type power. Basically, everything that is part of the game has been tweaked. Altogether, over 3,000 creature abilities have been amplified, refreshing the world's difficulty and adding new layers of danger, strategy, and discovery. So, I mean, this is all really cool. I mean, on the surface, it sounds great. This isn't just a numbers game. Beyond buffing Blizzard's original stats and spells, you got the wolves that jump. So as we've gone deeper, hand editing entire families of creatures that introduce brand new mechanics and behaviors. Even at levels, you'll encounter fresh challenges you've never seen before. For example, wolves across Azeroth now the ability to close the distance with a ruthless lunging leap. I've actually seen this. I can't remember where I experienced this. Did I play on Project Epoch's? I think I played on Project Epoch's testing test server like at one point, and I actually experienced these wolves jumping, which was kind of interesting. While boars may wind up for a long casting brutal charge effect that demands quick reactions to dodge, especially familiar foes, to fight in unfamiliar deadly ways, keeping you on your toes. Okay. Elite difficulty. Um, the revelation. I remember Revelation. I remember, but the problem with Revelation is the quality of what they were doing wasn't there. Like Kapupa, they were trying to drastically change the world, but it felt like there was no overriding vision to it. It didn't feel like there was, it felt like you had about 3 or 4 different people working on the project there who each just had willy nilly freedom to change whatever they want whenever they wanted, so there was no continuity. You can't drastically change the world's you can't go into WoW Classic and start changing the zones, the way they look and stuff, without keeping some sort of continuity to it. You can't like just say, well, I went into Westfall and now there's, the amount of trees in Westfall has been increased by 60%. But then I went into another zone and the amount of trees was decreased by, another zone that has trees and the amount of trees were decreased by 50% or something. You just can't have that continuity. It's got to be consistent. And you couldn't have like where you went into one zone, the quality of the changes was really high quality. Then you went to the zone and the quality of changes was really low quality and just really janky. Those types of things can't exist in the same game. And that to me was what the problem with Revelation is. It felt like they were doing too many changes. Like when you went into Stormwind, I think even they had like all these trees everywhere in Stormwind. It just and then the scale they were scaling them, making like way bigger. It just wasn't, you know, it wasn't in line with what the world of Azeroth looked like, and it didn't have the continuity across the board. So you just can't do that. So elite difficulty, elites and rare elites no longer feel like mild speed bumps. They are now dangerous, group-worthy foes. They were always meant to be, requiring sharp solo skills or well-coordinated group play to bring down. Beyond just boosting their stats, we've gone further by adding multiple elite-only questing and farming areas throughout the world that offer. See, this is awesome. This right here is an amazingly good change. And the reason this is a good change is because elite farming for gear and for leveling is a really good thing that exists in like a lot of MMOs. Like you talk about games like Elion, you talk about games like maybe Black Desert or going back to like Lineage 2, trying to find areas where even like there's another game I'm thinking of that I can't think of the name of right now. What was that game? It was the one that didn't do well, that had 10,000 different rebirths to it. What was it called? It's gonna drive me nuts if I don't remember it. It was. I bet you I can see it on my Steam. Bless. That I just came in my Bless. Like Bless actually Bless Unleashed actually had that where you would farm elites. So elite farming to me is a really cool thing where basically like you can go into the world like an MMO and you can try Bless where you can try to farm elites solo and it's like a way to kind of test how good are you with your class because it's very difficult to kill the elites unless you really know your class really well. But you get the rewards are the experience you get from killing them is higher, and the possibility of maybe getting some blue items or some rare gear is higher. So it's something that I think is really cool. I've always liked it because I'm kind of more of a solo player anyway. I don't really like to play with other people a lot. So to me, it's just a cool little mechanic. So them doing that to this, I think, is really cool. You know, beyond just boosting stats, we've gone further by adding multiple lead only questing and farming areas throughout the world, offering high risk, high reward challenges for players eager to test their limits. I think this is a great idea. And in dungeons where elites already dominate, we've applied even more skill to ensure that both trash packs and bosses push your party strategy, preparation, and execution to them. So this, if this is true, and if they've done this in any way that's good, I think that's a huge benefit to the world. Like it's big. That's to me, that's really a big one. All right, bosses reinvented. It's not just dungeon stress we've upgraded. Bosses have undergone drastic reworks as well. We haven't just adjusted their stats. We've woven new mechanics directly into their existing rotations. In many cases, transform them entirely new encounters. Whether okay, so new encounters for bosses, new abilities. That's kind of to be expected for anybody who's trying to do anything good, I guess. So yeah, but I mean, on the surface, I've always thought that Project Epoch was cool, and I thought we had some videos that talked about. Let's see. Yeah, there's the Undead Paladin, which was talked about a year ago, which was always cool. Wasn't there one where they talked about PvP? Moody Knights reworked. Let's check this out. This is like how they talked about how they adjusted the graphics. For me, I skip 90% of all elite quests because I can just grind normal mobs, getting more XP. Yeah, yeah, Kabupa, that's true. Like if you're a paladin, right, Kabupa? When we're playing paladin, the master class, we can just go kill the elites by ourselves. We don't even need anybody's help. Or if you're a rogue too, or a mage, there's lots of classes that can do it. So this is cool. So we've got Project Epoch's Moody Knights, right? Let's take this copy. Let's go here. Let's get rid of this. I didn't mean to open Blender. All right, let's take this. All right, so we got vanilla world, and this does look pretty much just like vanilla, right? And then we have what Project Epoch has said that they've done, right? I just want to see if we could really see like I don't know, like graphically it's the same, right? We don't see like any difference in the quality of the textures. Because one thing that most private servers have never really been able to do is increase the quality of the textures, right? And I think even here we don't really see that either. I mean, it still looks like the textures are kind of the same. They've just changed the lighting. I mean, and it does look better. But I mean, honestly, I could just go into, I could just go into reshade and do almost the same thing just with reshade. You're not sure what you like more? Oh, I definitely like the Epoch's version more. Although it looks a little greeny. Like there's this. I like Epoch's better more, but I would hope that this is nighttime and not daytime because obviously I mean you see the stars, the starlit sky. Um, yeah, I mean I like Epoch's version better. Yeah, it's just a little more moody, a little bit more creepy, and it really fits with Darkshire because Darkshire is supposed to be kind of a moody zone. You know what I mean? They have their epoch system. I don't. What is their epoch? Oh, also you can see the change, and I've seen this before too. This is when you're killing Stalvin, right? They've changed this building. It's a very bizarre layout, but they've made a little courtyard here, and then there's a little balcony here, and that's probably Stalvin right there, I would imagine. So they've changed some of the buildings in the game a little bit, different a little bit. Yeah, there was a developer I used to talk to, wasn't there? Was it Magic? Magic was the one I think I talked to. Let's see, Magic. I don't know. Here, hold on a second. Um, there was a developer I talked to all the time, and I think it was Magic. Let's see, Magic. I think that was her name. Yeah, it was Magic. Here, so I was talking to Magic, and I said, "Hey, Magic, what's the software you were using again for Project Epoch?" And I don't know. I don't know. I don't like the comments from her are gone out of my chat. I don't know if she blocked me or I don't know if she deleted her account, but they're gone. Huh. Oh well. But I used to have. I think I might have had a falling out with that person, that Magic person. I don't remember why though. I don't remember why, but I might have had a falling out with that person because I used to have a pretty good chat history with that person. And it's all gone. I must have pissed them off. Who knows? Here's Vanilla Goldshire. They've just made it a lot darker. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like in. It's going to be really interesting to see what it looks like because of me using my filters with reshade. One thing that you can always tell, like the one thing that I can always see in vanilla is right. Let's see. Is this texture right here that we see on the ground here is a pretty common like texture, although I see a big seam right here. Um, but you'll get this like kind of light shining off this grass. It's reflective, is what I'm trying to say. There's more specular highlights to this texture than there are a lot of other textures in WoW. So you get this kind of like reflection of light coming off the grass, almost as if this grass here is almost metallic, which is I always thought was kind of interesting. And in fact, I think there's even a video of me playing on a private server from like way back when that showcases that. I don't know if I'll be able to find it because I've played so much vanilla. Yeah, this is the same texture though. And then this is like on an old 1.12 client. But just the how heavy the rain was. Moody nights. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I wish it did too. I really wish it did too. And it's something that I think I didn't see that on Project Epoch that they were gonna like change the weather system. So that's something that I would hope. That would be something I would love to see. Like if on Project Evo, if you're gonna do all these changes, it would be super cool if you could enhance the weather system. And I don't know how much power they have over the weather system though. I don't know how much work it would be to change that. Let's see, Shadowfang Keep. Well, I don't like to switch to play a different character without restarting the stream because this stream is for leveling a priest. So if you guys want to see me like play my hunter or the paladin, let me know and I'll start up a new stream to. I got about another couple hours, so we just got an invite. Same rogue. I'm gonna assume this is stockades. Yeah, it is. Okay. I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, I was just saying I kind of want to level my paladin and my hunter, but man, it's a little disheartening knowing that Project Epoch is coming out in just like a month because I'm so worried that I'll spend all this time trying to level these characters and we'll jump over to Epoch and we'll never get back to these characters, you know. If Epoch is good. I mean, if it's good. So we don't, yeah, I don't really know how good it's going to be or not, so. Why am I only level 25? I thought I was 26 already. We've got the Holy Shroud. Which is going to be a big boost to my healing. Since I don't even think I'm wearing a helm. No. Yeah, but talking about Chrono Odyssey, I mean, I watched a ton of videos on Chrono Odyssey, and there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff. I think. But I do think that Chrono Odyssey has the potential to be a really good game. But one thing is, it's not going to be those. I think the storyline's not going to be real great. I don't think from a story point of view it's going to be a really good MMO. Oh man, I just wish we. I just want there to be an MMO that's so good that we don't have to worry about playing anything else. That's what I want. You know. Like the one thing that's been so frustrating in the past like 3 years is constantly switching. You know, playing this version of WoW for like 6 months or 3 months, then playing this version of WoW for 3 months, and then playing this version of because then you feel like all the progression you make on your characters is almost like wasted. It's like, well, I spent 3 months doing that character, and now I'm doing something else, you know. And that character's, you know, she's just sitting there, lost to the annals of time. Oh, you said on the site they talk about. Sorry, Voss, I missed your. You said they have the Epic system. There are 4 times a day at certain times. Different events will happen in zones, like midnight zombies come out. That's pretty cool. Sorry, Voss, I missed that. That's pretty cool. Well, I think to me, dynamic events are something that are really fun for MMOs, and if you can randomize them, you know, um, I think even when I was listening to Mrs. Sticks from MMO Byte YouTube channel, Mrs. Sticks was talking on her review of Chrono Odyssey. She was talking about how some of the individual solo dungeons that you would go through use they changed slightly. Like every time you do it, the map is slightly different, but it's not enough different that you don't know where you're going. So they're using procedural generation, but they're using it to such a small amount that it really isn't having an impact. But the tools are getting so good with game development, right? The tools are getting so good. There's a lot of barriers to certain things that make certain MMOs not stand the test of time, because things just become stale once you learn how to do certain things. It's not as fun, you know what I mean? So But we're getting to the point where we can get away from some of that. You know, we can use AI, coupled with procedural generation to really randomize stuff so that when you do certain things, it's always going to feel fresh. You know, and that's something that really hasn't been explored. And then the weather systems, like Turtle was saying, I think the weather system, like, I mean, how Black Desert came out what in 2014, and it's still to this day, I think it has some of the nicest like rain. Like in Black Desert, when it's like raining, like really raining, it's impressive. Like you're like, wow, this is a rainstorm. You know. Let's see if we can find a really good one. You know.
Enjoy this if you've never seen it before. Enjoy.
Enjoy this if you've never seen it before. Okay. How long ago was this video? I bet this is a long time. 10 years ago. They've got music to it. So here's a storm, Black Desert at night. There's some lightning. But there's some times in Black Desert when the rain just looks fantastic. Let's hear the nerdy. This is like the nerdy voice. Like, no, which one was the nerdy voice one? This one. It's like how hey Vols, we talked
Enjoy
about
this.
we talked about this, Vols, right? There's like whenever you like play an MMO and you go into like a raid or something, and there's always like those people that are like the raid leaders, the ones that like know everything there is to know about everything, and they're like the biggest nerds on the planet. They always have this voice.
If you've never seen it before, enjoy.
You know, they always have that, hey guys, let's go in. You know, they always have that like nerdy, what is it with that voice? What is it with this voice?
Enjoy this if you've never seen it before, enjoy.
So this is a video from like 10 years ago, so the quality's not great, but you can still see the amount of heavy. You can still see when it starts to rain how the water like builds up on the ground. And it turns into like puddles of water. You can start seeing puddles start to form. And then I don't know why he put in the stupid music. Anyways, whatever. But yeah, definitely weather systems are something that's completely, they haven't done a good enough job with them in MMOs. So, okay, what is up with this group? Like, this group's irritating me. All right, I'm out. I'm gonna go play my what? Let's go play the Paladin. Let's play the Paladin. I don't remember on my Paladin. I haven't played this Paladin hardly at all, but I would like to get this Paladin to 62, especially for Wrath of the Lich King. I can't remember what talents I was doing. Is this the one where I was doing the bizarre hybrid? No, this is my straight up AoE leveling build. Okay. I'm level, what, 40? Can't do that while moving. Ah. Anyways, I'm going to stop the stream here. and start up a new stream where we're gonna play the paladin a little bit. Like I said, I don't like to stream a different character when the title of the stream is leveling a priest. So I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll catch you guys.